What is up, you guys? I got a pretty good video for you today. We're going to be talking about the job market, the job market that all of us are trying to navigate through. And let me tell you, man, it is a headache trying to navigate this. It feels like it's an endless fight to try and get interviews and find jobs that you feel like you genuinely be happy with, or at least content with. It's a lot of it's a lot of applications. It's getting ghosted a lot. It's a lot of bullshit jobs that you see on Indeed and LinkedIn. And, it really sucks, man. It really sucks the way the job market is. And I want to take some time to kind of talk about it. I want to talk about a few people that I know who are kind of navigating it, myself being one of them. I've been keeping my eyes open and applying to jobs for months. If you've seen my other videos, I'm not really happy at my current company. I did just get a new position there, so that kind of helps buy me a little bit of time. My previous position, I absolutely hated. I seriously considered quitting without having another job lined up. But thankfully, a position did open up. I was recommended for it, and I did recently start that new position. So that's good news on my end. But that's not really the focus of this video. The focus of this video is going to be talking about the job market. So first things first, I want to talk about a friend of mine, and I want to put this into perspective for you guys because you could apply to hundreds of jobs and barely hear back from any, and it can be extremely discouraging. Trust me, I know. Like, I've been through it. So I spoke to a friend of mine who was job searching for a while, and he basically broke down to me how many jobs he applied to and how many interviews he got, and the fact that he finally landed a job. So I think this really helps put into perspective. And I don't want you guys to be discouraged if you're applying to a lot of jobs and maybe you're getting turned down or maybe you're not hearing back, but it sounds like that's what everyone is dealing with. So just keep that in mind. So, a friend of mine, he was applying to jobs for months. He's a very smart dude, software engineer, works with AI, product manager, all that kind of stuff. Like, this dude is qualified. He was applying to a lot of good places. Like, I mean, he had interviews at Facebook, kind of thing. So, a guy like this who is extremely qualified, he applied to 400 different jobs. And out of those 400 jobs, he had 20 interviews. So that's 5% of his applications he got interviews for. So if that doesn't, you know, provide some clarity on what people are dealing with, this guy is extremely qualified, extremely smart dude, and he only got 20 interviews out of 400 applications. So basically, to put that into perspective, is for every 100 jobs you apply to, you'll get about 5 interviews. And I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but just keep that in mind. Like, you apply to 100 jobs, you get 5 interviews. So what does that tell you? It tells you it's a numbers game. You know, I know we all want our dream job at the end of the day, and if we could all get it, that would be fantastic. But I've come to realize through my personal experience with applying to jobs is it's a numbers game, man. Just apply to as much as you possibly can within, the field that you want to work. Of course, if you're not working, don't apply to nursing jobs if you're not a nurse, kind of thing. I'm not saying to go ahead and apply to literally everything, but apply to just about everything in your field. Anything related to, what it is you do or what you want to do for work, apply to it. And if they get back to you, fantastic. Then you can do some research into them, find out if it's something that you actually want to do. But I would highly recommend that you don't take a bunch of time researching a company and looking into them prior to applying, because you're just going to be wasting your time. Like, if you spend too much time looking into companies and trying to find the exact job that you want, chances are you're going to waste a lot of time looking into companies who probably aren't even going to get back to you. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's just the fact of the matter. So just apply to everything you can in the field or position type that you're looking for. And when companies start to hit you back, then you can kind of look into them a little bit further and make sure that it's something you'd actually be happy doing. Think of it as like, you're just getting your feelers out there and you're applying to everything. And if they reach back out to you, then you research them. You kind of interview them without them even knowing it, right? Do some research on the company, see how the reviews are for the employees, things of that nature. So that's that. That's one story that I wanted to share with you guys. Another friend of mine, someone close to me, um, she's young, right? Pretty much just out of college at this point. And, you know, I think something that younger people, if you are younger, you're just getting out of college, or maybe you didn't go to college, or maybe you're just looking to start working, don't be too selective, especially when you're young. And I know this kind of somewhat contradicts what I was just saying about my other friend, but he's much more qualified. He's been working for a number of years. He's older. He has experience. But for younger people, just start applying to anything. And if something feels, even somewhat decent in this job market, decent pay, it allows you to pay your bills, and you feel like it's relative to what you're looking to do, and you feel like it might be a stepping stone, I would go ahead and pursue it. If it's something that you feel like could be a step in the right direction for you, I would go ahead and pursue it, or at least, pursue the interview, right? And you can discuss, specifics with them, and pay and all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty tough to land a job right now. I know through my personal experience and a lot of friends and coworkers and people that I do speak with. So if you're young and you have an opportunity to work, you should probably take it. Don't be too selective when you're young. You're not going to find that perfect job paying you six figures, totally remote, everything you really, really wanted in your dream job. It's probably not going to happen when you're young. You kind of got to show who you are, what you're capable of, and that you're serious about your work. So just to apply to a bunch of stuff, get your foot in the door somewhere, gain some experience, and then, once you do that, then you can kind of be a little bit more selective. And that leads me to my third and final example, is another friend of mine, close friend of mine. She has been working for probably about 3 years at this point. She's in a sort of a niche field, I guess you can say. And she's currently working her second job in the field, and she's just not happy with the company and how they're, kind of treating her. So she's been searching for jobs for probably about 4 months at this point, and she's had some interviews, couple offers actually, but unfortunately they just weren't to her satisfaction. I think one of the offers she got, it was actually the same pay, and another offer she got, the pay was slightly less than what she was making. And while she could have accepted those and gotten away from her current company, she decided to hold off a bit and, find something that she felt like was a good fit for her long term, or at least for the foreseeable future. And she actually just let me know a few days ago that she finally received the job offer and accepted it. And, her schedule is much better now. Her previous company, the schedule was kind of crazy. It was early and late night shifts and all this kind of stuff. The pay wasn't, it was okay for her, but it wasn't great. No paid holidays, just like a lot of stuff that you would really appreciate as an employee. This company didn't do any of that. So after interviewing for 4, 5 months, whatever it was, she finally got a job that has a consistent schedule, better pay, paid holidays, just really everything you'd want as someone in their 20s, kind of moving up in their career field, especially when you're used to working crazy shifts and not being appreciated, dealing with a bunch of bullshit, and not feeling like you're being compensated properly. So this is a situation where it is worth it to kind of wait it out a bit, right? Like I'm not saying to just settle for anything if you're looking for a job, but don't be afraid to be a little bit selective if you have some experience in your field, right? And I know how difficult it can be if you hate your position and hate your company. Trust me, I'm basically in that position right now, but I don't want to settle for something that's going to basically be the same thing 6 months from now, right? Like you want to start moving towards a positive work environment and get yourself in a position where you can really be successful in your field. So her story kind of gives me some hope. And I know that I need to probably lock in a little bit harder with applying to jobs. I've been pretty busy since I got back from vacation, so I've kind of been on hold with applications, but I think I'm going to go ahead and ramp up the resume a little bit, clean it up a little bit more, start dialing in on specific jobs, and hopefully even start working on some certifications or some courses that are going to help me kind of move in the right direction for work. So, you know, I hope you guys can learn something from this. At the end of the day, the job market is tough right now. Don't be too selective, but also, don't be settling for something that you don't deserve, I guess is the best way to say it. Sooner or later, you will find what you're looking for. You just got to be diligent and put in the effort, apply to just about everything you can. And hopefully that one job that's out there that's really meant for you, hopefully you will land it. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. Just wanted to kind of touch base with you in regards to the job market and applying to jobs. I know it's something that I'm dealing with right now, and it's probably something that a lot of you guys may be dealing with as well. So just keep in mind, stay positive, keep at it, and you'll figure it out sooner or later. That's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you checking in. As always, if you're new here, I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, post all kinds of content about personal finance, life experiences, anything I really feel like talking about. I throw it over some gameplay for you guys, and I hope you can kind of learn or connect with it. So appreciate you checking in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.